This might be a little arrogant of me, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I think one of the best things that happened to me in my career in AEW, in my position and where I'm at, was Mercedes coming here. It was almost like I heard the bird calls for Britt Baker to come back because it made people want to see me back and put her in her place and show her what AEW is really about.
Britt Baker has been away from AEW for almost a year, but she is back. She's got some stuff to say, and this is Close Up with Britt Baker. Brittany Baker. Does anyone call you Brittany?
Nobody. Not
even your mom?
Not the only time I was called Brittany was in high school basketball when I was in foul trouble and my coach would yell at me. He'd say Brittany, but no.
Brittany.
Nobody.
I'm so excited to finally be doing one of these with you. I feel like I started doing this when you were gone, because you've been gone for a real long time.
A very long time, yes. It's weird. It's weird to be, I'm still like not acclimated with being back yet, I feel.
Yeah, like how weird is it to see, I mean, the company is so young that it's constantly changing and evolving. So to be gone for a year and come back, how much has changed in AEW?
Well, it's young, but at the same time, I've been a part of like every waking moment of it until I wasn't.
Yeah.
So then it was kind of stressful being at home, just kind of watching the company continue to grow without me, because wrestling waits for no one.
No.
It's, you know, you're there or you're not, and it doesn't matter because wrestling's gonna continue without you, and that was a harsh reality. It was rewarding in a sense, because I will always be part of the foundation. I will always be the roots of AEW, and it's gonna thrive with or without me, but I always want to be a part of the reason of its success too. I think anybody would want that.
It's so hard to step away, and obviously it wasn't like your decision to just take time off. We'll get into all the injuries and all the stuff that kind of went down during your time off. But as that started to come up, being on the road, being on TV for however long, to all of a sudden being like off, what did that feel like to have everything kind of come to like that screeching halt?
At first, it was definitely like a shock, because it's everything about your week. You plan around going to work, and this is our job. And it's not a 9 to 5 where we're sitting at a desk, like getting on the plane Tuesday night, waking up, going to the venue Wednesday morning, getting on the plane, like that all changed, and it was a very different week. But I think I needed it, not only like physically, but mentally too. I think it was time for me to have a break. It was time for Britt Baker and AEW to have a little bit of a break. And I think that made me coming back so much more special.
What were those conversations that you were having leading up to taking that time off? Was it talking to Tony about where your back was at? Like, what was that?
Yes and no. It's a blessing and a curse to be so stubborn, where you kind of just want to power through all the injuries, because even though it probably isn't doing good for anybody to be fighting through injuries, sometimes you just feel like you want to be tough, you want to be the warrior, you want to be the, set an example that this, we're here for AEW, we're here, we're gonna do whatever is asked of us and needed of us. But yeah, my back got really bad there for a while, where I had to get the injections.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
Yeah, to be able to, even walk in the ring at some point. And then it was everything kind of at once. I had a torn hip labrum, which again was from the herniated discs in my back and my neck, and my wrist never
one thing was
fully
kind of
healed.
leading into another.
Yeah,
you're like favoring.
It was just all kind of crumbling together.
Yeah,
and it was
love that. We love when that happens.
We love a good crumble, right? But yeah, it was time. It was time to let everything heal and just mentally, emotionally get in tune with myself again, because you do kind of lose yourself at some point when it felt like I was just stale. I was stagnant with who I am as a performer, in that I needed time away to kind of be reinvigorated again and to find myself again.
Sure. Okay, so talk to me about the TIA. You spoke about it in your promo, but what actually happens when that's happening to you?
It was the weirdest thing. I was in Orlando with my hairstylist, Amanda, best in Orlando, getting my hair done. And I was sitting down, and I just remember it felt sick, like something was off, and the room was spinning, and it was just like sick, like nauseous, sweating, and just
not
off.
Good.
Something was not right. And she could tell right away. She's like, "Are you okay?" Asked me if I needed a water. I said, "Definitely need a water." And of course, the first thing that came to mind was something with my neck. Because when I had the spinning and the vertigo, it must be something with the neck.
Sure.
She hands me the water. I go to open it, and I like this side just doesn't work, my right side. And
Like your hand wouldn't work?
Yeah, I couldn't, it was like numb, it was weird, it couldn't work. And she saw it and noticed it, and she's like, here, I'll open it for you. And like, it was we both sort of panicked at the same time, and she's like, I think you need to go to the hospital. And I just kept saying, no, I'm okay, let's just finish my hair, which we did. Insane, we finished my hair.
God.
And then it, you know, it got worse, it was not, and as soon as we were done, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go. So I actually drove myself, because it was 2 blocks away, to the hospital. Was stupid, I should have not done that. And you know, when you go to the emergency room, you expect to wait. I'm sitting there waiting, it's gonna be hours before I get seen, and they took me in right away. And over the intercom system, I hear them say, like, stroke patient coming back every, like...
What did you say when you walked in?
I just told them, like, this whole side is numb. I told all the symptoms I just explained to you.
Yeah.
And they tested some stuff, and they were, like, you know, looking in my eyes, at my reflexes, everything, and then put me in a wheelchair, and the next thing I know, I'm wheeled back. They're sticking needles in me, putting all the stickers on me to go and get tests, and... that it was very quick, and then next thing I knew, I'm admitted in. I have my own little room with a pamphlet on stroke, being a stroke victim.
Holy.
Yeah, and it was like it felt like a minute had gone by since I was in the hair chair getting my hair done, and then admitted to the hospital for a week for a TIA, mini stroke, and it was so weird because you know, it sounds so cliche, but you always think like this does not happen to me. This is never gonna happen. And I'm just like, what in the world is going on? And it was a big reality check that, like, you gotta listen to yourself. When you're stressed, when you're overwhelmed, mentally, emotionally, physically, you gotta listen to your body and just like chill the out sometimes. And it's, I think so many of us fall into that, you know, we gotta go, we gotta keep going, we gotta be there for AEW, for Tony, for the wrestling fans, for this, for that. But every now and then, we gotta be there for us too. We need to chill.
Totally.
Relax.
Like, so scary to have something like that happen. Have you had any, has anything else that kind of lingered from having that happen? Thank God.
Total recovery. And if anything, it just, you know, really put me in a good mindset to really focus on me and my body and my mind, my everything, just training like a beast. I've been living in the gym, whether it's, you know, Dr. Brett Chance in Orlando with, you know, helping me with all my injuries and getting my body to a point where I can like really kill it in the gym, and then working with DDP, doing the DDPY and the power cuffs, and it's just been awesome.
Yeah, you're shredded. You look great.
And to see the progress, that's the best thing. Yeah. I mean, you know, when you go to the gym and you start really seeing the transformation, you start flexing the mirror, you're like, okay. Yeah. And even like I saw the pictures of my return, and I was like, damn, Britt. Okay.
Did it. Okay, so let's talk about the return, because again, in the promo you talked about, and I saw you right before you went out, and
you were the only person that knew. Nobody knew. I didn't. First off, it all came together very last minute. Yeah. Like it was cemented the night before. And I don't know if we can say that, but we'll just say it. So I didn't have time to prepare anything. It was very like off to the races, and I wouldn't change that because then
kind of for the best.
Nobody knew, and it's like I was at home, I was with my family. It was very, you know, scattered, but it was. I wouldn't change anything about it because
you don't have time to overthink it either.
You don't have time to think it. It didn't get leaked.
Yeah.
It was, which is so hard in wrestling. Yeah. It's so frustrating that everything gets spoiled. But I didn't tell anybody. None of my best friends. And I remember when I saw you. You walked in the door, and I was like, oh, thank God, because I was
like, what's going on back here? What are you doing?
I was a nervous wreck, was I not?
You were nervous.
I was like, they're not going to care. They're not going to. No one's going to even give a that I'm here because AEW has surpassed me. That's such a like horrible feeling. And I talked about in my promo the feeling of rejection. The fear of rejection is worse than the rejection itself.
Yeah, no, and that is so accurate and so true. But kind of going back to what you said at the very beginning of the interview of no matter what, you were always one of the originals from AEW. You helped to build this entire company. So to have that feeling of like, oh my gosh, how is the crowd gonna react? What's gonna happen? To feel that way, and then to have your music hit and you got the reaction that you did.
Yeah.
How did you feel?
I had goosebumps, and it's kind of like a thing where it's again cliche, but it's like you kind of black out for a second because you lose all sensations. Your mind doesn't work. I was afraid my legs weren't going to work, that I wasn't going to be able to walk through the tunnel because I was so nervous. But then it's it's that instinct, it's that killer instinct where as soon as your music hits, as soon as you hear the crowd, whether they boo or cheer or scream, whatever, as soon as you hear that, it's like, it's all the fuel you need to come, and here we are, DMD, we're back.
It was such a cool moment, and to like be in the crowd and see that, and to see how nervous you were too going out. I was like, I'm like recording the video and I could feel myself getting choked up watching you go out and do that and like have that moment. There's nothing like it.
I know that I've been here from day one, and I know how much I poured into this company and to getting into where we are now, but I don't expect fans to have to feel the same way about me being here or not being here. Like they aren't indebted to me in any way, shape, or form, but to feel they do feel that way, and that was just such a I don't want to say a relief, but it was so rewarding. Yeah. Because it's like, man, they do remember me. They do appreciate me. You know, we might not always be on the same page, me and the fans, but it's nice it's nice that at least they can appreciate and respect the OGs, the AEW OGs.
So in the time that you've been gone, Mercedes Mone, now a part of AEW, a big part of AEW. What was it like for you being at home, seeing that she had signed here and then kind of off to the races to where she's been?
Well, first and even now, it's exciting because he's arguably one of the biggest names in women's wrestling and has been for a long time. And it's cool that she chose AEW first and foremost, because again, my pride, my heart starts beating with, you know, it's so rewarding again that I'm a part of something. I helped build something that a star like Brian, like Mercedes, like
Will Ospreay,
Jay,
Okada,
you know, Adam Copeland, that they chose to come here. Yeah. And that's so cool that they didn't have to and they did. But that was super rewarding because she's always been one of my favorite wrestlers, and I've been very open about that. I've said that in many interviews. That was always a dream match of mine. But then, you know, I started really paying attention to things she was saying, because you always have to have your finger on the pulse. What's going on? What are people saying? And to just sort of brag about, I'm the highest paid female in wrestling. I'm, you know, this and that. So what are you here for then? What are your intentions? To be the highest paid female? And to talk about everything you've done and accomplished somewhere else? Or are you here to be a part of like the revolution here? Truly? Is that what's going on in your heart? What do you really, really want to accomplish here? That's where I started asking myself the questions. And are we on the same page with what our goals are for AEW? Because if we are, great. If we're not, I think we're gonna butt heads. I think I have a different vision for what contributing to AEW is than she does. This might be a little arrogant of me, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I think one of the best things that happened to me in my career in AEW, in my position and where I'm at, was Mercedes coming here. And it was almost like I heard the bird calls for Britt Baker to come back, because it's like the shiny new toy isn't so shiny when it's right in front of your face. So let's bring that old toy back that we know is tried and true and always gonna be there. And I think for me, again, the best thing that happened in my career was Mercedes Mone starting her AEW career, because it made people want to see me back and put her in her place and show her what AEW is really about.
What were you feeling when you were in the ring with her and you guys to be nose to nose and to now finally be like meeting Mercedes in that situation?
Yeah, I tell you what I felt. I felt like she's not better than me. I feel like I'm on her level, and I feel like maybe I'm even a step above her, because when she put her hands in my face and I didn't whoop her ass back yet, that was me. That's like, I'm above a lot of this bull now, and I'm happy that I'm at a place, because Britt Baker 3 years ago, we're swinging. You touched, but you know, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna see how it plays out, and I do hope I get to wrestle her at All In at Wembley. I think for me, that's the match. That's where Britt Baker returning to AEW. That's where I belong. I belong on the grand stage with the biggest female star and highest paid female in all of wrestling right now. You know, let's go, Mercedes. Show up. If you are what you say you are, then why won't you accept my challenge? What are you afraid of?
You've not wrestled in a year. How do you feel to have that first match, whether that is the first match, something leading up to that, but to have that time off? I mean, we often talk about ring rust of somebody being away. You've had injuries, you've had these things. You're obviously in incredible shape and form right now. So how do you think that's going to translate in the ring once you start having matches again?
It's always something. Injuries is always something in the back of your mind, and you have to keep it there. Don't ever bring it to the forefront because that's when injuries happen then. But I've been training. I've been in the rings in Florida, in Atlanta. I've been all over the place training because I want to train with new people and learn new stuff and make sure that I'm at the top of my game when I come back, because I knew when I came back there was going to be a lot expected of me, and I didn't want to be below the bar. I want to be way above it.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty confident in my in-ring abilities right now, and will I be nervous? Absolutely. Is there ring rust? Absolutely. I hope minimum ring rust, but I'm excited, and I think I'm a new version of myself in a lot of ways, in-ring included.
Hell yeah. Well, I cannot wait to see that happen. I'm so excited that you're back. I feel like we all just needed a little more Britt Baker in our lives. So I'm happy to see you here and start kicking some around.
Yeah, let's shake it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah.